I apologize for that.
That's okay. Hannah Rosigan. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our testimonies. I'm here also as a member of Silent No More. And as you heard my friend Julie go into great detail about what we now know that we did not know before, I want to tell you why it's so important to take a little step back and really consider the people who are most vulnerable when you're looking at the passage of these bills. Because I think I brought my daughters here again. They're actually in the other room. And I think when I consider them and I consider all the things that they're hearing, and they've heard countless testimony today that has gone directly against what I have taught them about life, about development, about their own responsibilities. We keep using that term, reproductive rights, and what we're referencing is actually the right to kill a human being. That's what we're talking about. But that euphemism makes it sound very wonderful, you know, reproductive rights. That sounds like a good thing. But I'm sure that even my youngest daughter, who's 11, who doesn't know fully understand the details of that, but does understand exactly what it's referring to when they say abortion, you know, when they say this is a human life, because she can certainly accept and look at the truth of things. But when you begin using this terminology that obscures what's actually being done, you confuse the most vulnerable people who will no doubt be affected by these laws. Over 30 years ago, I made that terrible decision. And once you've made that terrible decision to abort your own child, something dies within you. Whether that's recognized, as some have testified, right away or within years of having done that, it's a fact that you will regret it. Whereas when you have a child, and I would say at this point, most of the time, most people do not regret having a child. But I really do believe that because of what we're talking about, the taking of the life of a human being, you will regret this. Maybe not immediately, maybe not after 5 years, but eventually down the road. When we keep saying these things like reproductive rights and the obscuring of what's actually being done, we keep telling these young people, especially young women, to be irresponsible with their body. And I, of course, am not referring to women who are victimized. In no way am I referring to that group of people. I myself was a victim of that type of violence. But I also can tell you that I was a victim of being badgered about 22 years ago. My son will turn 22 this week, in fact. 23 years ago, when I became pregnant with him, I was badgered by the father of that child to have an abortion. And in fact, I think that it was outright abuse, the way that he talked to me. When I had told him that I changed my mind about abortion, I changed my mind about these things, I could not do that to a human being again. I regretted the abortions that I had so much years earlier that I vowed I would not do that again. Unfortunately, I was irresponsible in my engagement with him. But nevertheless, I had chosen life. I wanted to have this baby. And I was badgered. And not only by this young man, but by his friends and by many other women. I lost friends. I was told that I would ruin his life. I was told that my life would be ruined. And you know, that's not true. My son and my girls, my 4 girls, are the best thing that ever happened to me. They're wonderful. They're a gift from God. And I don't regret giving birth to them and raising them and teaching them the truth and helping them to love themselves and others and God. And I want them to be responsible. And I know that I can't protect them from some things that may happen to them, that they become victims. I pray that that does not happen to them. But I will not continue to allow them to hear these things and not teach them that what they're hearing repeatedly from really men and women who should be more responsible about what they're thinking and saying and doing. You're really promoting those of you who are in opposition to these good and right bills, which are further protection for humanity. You're really perpetuating a continual lie, and you're hurting the most vulnerable people, which are our young people, our children. And I would just plead with you again. There's no hurry, there's no rush. I keep hearing codify, this has to be codified. Why? Why do we have to rush when I've heard testimony on both sides? This is heart-wrenching. This is so personal. This is such a decision to make. So should anything that has that weight be made with such a impulse to protect ourselves? Should it be that we are really looking like men and women of goodwill to protect all, even if that means there's going to be some pain and some difficulty with it? Please, again, consider these bills and consider the good of those that further promote consent, information, and actual truth regarding what is in there. You heard testimony from people who have looked over these bills and said, there's vague language in here. Make sure that what you're doing is truly responsible so that we don't have another generation of women and men who are agonizing over this. Because we were dependent when we were young on older people telling us, this is what's right, this is what's good. If you think that these women are making these decisions independent of that, you're very wrong. Go out there, I challenge you. Please go to the abortion mills, see the women going in, ask them a few questions, see how informed they are, see how educated they are. I beg you, please. Thank you.